Yes. Asikunyatsokuzwa.
Okay. Chinamasa posted in social media that Kuda Tagwirei will be ratified as a central committee member. The central committee since met. So did the ratification take place? And if it did, what does the party believe it's signals? Given that serious corruption allegations that have long trailed against and then the second question is
Can I do one at a time? I don't know where the serious corruption allegations against Tagwirei are coming from. Normally in this country, there are statutory bodies which deal with corruption. If you as a journalist has got those corruption allegations and they are valid, I encourage you to go straight from this place to the police station, report Kuda Tagwirei as a corrupt person, and maybe from here you also go to the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, you go and report him and submit your allegations about his corruption in those institutions. Because those are the institutions with a statutory mandate to deal with accusations of such a nature. Definitely, the journalist, he can only allege, but he can't say, he can until you go through that system, which I've described, it's only an allegation. So I cannot comment about things which come from social media. I don't have a brief for Tagwirei and his business, but I do have a brief about ZANU-PF and the systems which it has put as a party to make sure that there is probity in the business conduct of Zimbabweans. So we have the laws, and they were passed by this party. It has been the ruling party for the past 45 years. Those laws exist, and there are statutory institutions which deal with those matters. Please, let's not use the public gallery as an arbiter of allegations of that nature. Because if we do that, we become a lawless land. Today it's you, tomorrow it's him, next time it's me. We can't do that. So go to the competent authorities to say, why haven't you dealt with Tagwirei? It is not the duty of this party to substitute itself for the statutory organs of the country which deal with matters which you are raising, particularly if they are of such a grave nature. Yeah. The other thing about Chilamasa's statements, I am the spokesperson of ZANU-PF. I speak for ZANU-PF, and I speak for the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, who is the first secretary and president of ZANU-PF. I speak for him. I speak for the party. I am not the spokesperson of Patrick Chinamasa. So I can't be commenting on anything which he feels he may say at any particular time. It is comments. It has nothing to do with what my job does, which is to clarify, which is to broadcast and give clarity to the membership of the party and the general public of Zimbabwe about what is going on in terms of appointments in the Politburo. Incidentally, and I want to emphasize this, I do not announce members of the Central Committee from the minutes of a Politburo meeting. I don't use the minutes as a reference point. What I use is an appointment letter which has been signed by the Secretary of Administration, Obetumpov, which would have been bona fide cleared by the leader of the party, President Mnangagwa. When that letter is brought to me, I will come here and I will come and announce to you who is a Central Committee member and who is not. And that Central Committee member would have been duly informed through the appointment letter. So if that procedure hasn't happened, I will not announce anybody here. And it means that that person is not yet be in that position which is purported to be in. Does it make sense to you? Thank you so much. We had a central committee meeting here a few days ago. That individual was not here. There were a host of other names which may have been, which are justing to be members of the central committee. They have yet to be cleared in the manner which I described. I only deal, appointments means like everybody has got a job. Appointment. Makatambira tsamba dzekunzi you are appointed as a journalist by whichever organization. Those late futhi kupati kwedu. Kunonyorwa tsamba. It does not come from minutes. So me as an information officer, I don't go and read minutes. No. Ndomirira tsamba. Yakanyorwa. And that letter does not exist concerning that individual which you are talking about. Thank you so much.
The second question, Temba Municipal is publicly attacked seniors and including Vice President General Chiwenga. Does the party see these remarks as an isolated outburst? And how is the party responding to the attacks?
Look, this is a democracy. Somebody may attack anybody. It shouldn't be done. We should also behave towards each other with propriety as common citizens of Zimbabwe. I have been several times attacked by the same person. He actually gets his meal ticket from whoever he sponsors him. Each time he makes some meal out of that because he cannot any artist work from decent work. I've lived with him for a long time. So maybe if I feel it is worth it, I may decide to take liberious action by the courts. I may decide to answer back. I could go for a press conference, and I've got a lot of things which I could go on about you. But sometimes you say one fool at a time. If there's a fool already in the ring, why do you want to join the ring? Maybe you just leave it like that. Because musha kwedu zvinonzi kana benzi rakubira hembe uchigeza dzawakayanika riine marengenyo iro iwo ukabuda patsime kana mudziwa uchiritandanisa uri pedzi benzi riine marengenyo vanhu vanofunga kuti iwowo uri pedzi ndiwe benzi. So sometimes you let sleeping dogs lie. I'm sure General Chiwenga will probably answer in the same way, but look, I will ask maybe what next time he is having a public, you can also ask him that question.
I wanted to find out to say that you're not going to display still now humans or allegations. But we understand that these allegations are not extent. Unless you are applying that the last week's apology was attended and still not, who produced the dossier allegations of corruption what I place I please clarify being that was posted was presented
There will always be dossiers against a revolutionary movement like ZANU-PF. It is part of the existence of ZANU-PF that in one way or the other, there's a dossier produced to, and invariably it's about trying to detract, to confuse, to deviate, to make the party deviate from its chosen path of delivering prosperity to the Zimbabwe people. I picked up about this dossier manufactured in South Africa 4 months ago, which we are talking about. And our president was already aware of it from that time. And we know the origin, he knew. And our South African friends knew the origin of that dossier. We also, as a party, knew of the attempts to foist turmoil within the party, to unduly propel a leadership contest, which is off the timetable of the party at this particular juncture. We have a Congress coming in 2027, 28, which will decide on what direction the party takes in terms of leadership. Some people may be impatient that that date may be a little bit too far, and outsiders may even lend these documents, these dossiers which we talk about. In fact, there was one at some time which was on the television as the Gold Mafia dossier. You know, they always come, you know, they do come. And sometimes if they coincide with ambition within the liberation movement, somebody may even buy them. And he may then try to see what mileage he can get out of such dossiers. But when it comes before the Politburo, we are very sane people. We have been through it 1,000 times. 6 years of being ZANU-PF, we have seen it all. So in the end, those things, we just put them aside and we focus on the more important work at hand. We are not distracted by the dossiers which even your publishing house is prone to peddle. You're trying to foist those dossiers as if they are the be-all and every-all about Zimbabwe. They are not, those dossiers. What I have talked to you about, what we are doing with the economy of Zimbabwe and the delivery of prosperity to Zimbabwe, those are the things that Robert Kanana's. We are not, and my president in particular, this one, is unduly faced, is not duly faced by some of these dossiers which you claim to be. Maybe one or two of his lieutenants, maybe one or two people in the Politburo may think it matters. Maybe they may think it can give them some mileage in a purported leadership contest. But the Politburo is not unduly moved by those things. We just look at it, we put it, you know, we treat them like a duck fluffs of water as it begins to fly out of a pond. Hatibatikani nazvo izvo blessed. Zvauri kutaura. Mm.
You speak about the companies which is coming the leverage. The party has created this institution and that appears to us. The provinces are already the country. So this Congress is just what
Wait, can I answer that? It's a democratic party. And in 5 years, this man has restored the currency of this country. This man has built a power-based energy in Bwange, which nobody ever thought of. This man has given the country a steel plant, which is unparalleled on the African, even in European continent. This man. This man, he have removed the country from being a beggar of the World Food Program for food for the Zimbabweans. We are now producing wheat for ourselves. This man is building roads, even on the budget of the country when nobody else wants to support us. This man is attracting investment on a world-class scale, like having steel plants by the best investors available on the global market. This man has put lithium plants where Zimbabwe can now aspire to become a producer of electric vehicle batteries, where our resources are not being exported raw, they are being beneficiated here, giving this country a chance to become part of the industrial revolution in a globalizing world. This man has made many young people become billionaires, or at least give them a US dollar food earnings per day by growing tobacco, by digging gold. Now they are in blueberries, which are going even all over the global market. There is palpable prosperity which is being delivered to Zimbabwe. And the membership of ZANU-PF is happy with that man. They haven't seen anything which they may want to say can blemish him. So they say, Rambai Mchigona Basa, they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what they are saying. He says, I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in 2 terms. I wrote that constitution. When my day comes, after my 2 terms, I go. That's his view. So let's wait for the date. But it doesn't stop us from working on a day-to-day issues on the economic parameters which we're talking about. Because that debate should not become the be-all and everything about ZANU-PF. Yes, there are some people in ZANU-PF but the other people are saying, Shipela, Imbomirai, when you just Congress, tokuona kuti mune kodzero here paCongress through the democratic process. The most important thing which ZANU-PF and which the president is doing is to safeguard the integrity of democratic choice by Zimbabweans in the selection of the leadership of Zimbabwe. This is so important. Any other method does not and will not meet the standards of ZANU-PF. And this is important. So they are not saying that they are going to close out the election for a particular individual. They are simply saying that when the time comes, Kindai Murin, I win, Arus. So that's it. We cannot prescribe to a democratic people that we can't. This is a democratic party. It's a mass party. That's what ZANU-PF is. It's a mass party. Vanhu vanojoina ZANU-PF nekuda, vanobuda nekuda, vanosvedza, vanosarudza maleaders avo nekuda. That's how we came into power in 1979, 1980 through democracy. But your paper wants to champion other people. Kunzidai vapinda vamusi iwoyo. Amuvote ZANU-PF beparenyu. Membership ZANU-PF ndo inovhota. You may make noise as much as you want on your paper, but it doesn't change the fact that it is membership of ZANU-PF which votes and not your newspaper. You may have the narcissism yekuti muri Alpha Media Holdings amubviri kupfuura vamwe. Kwedu hatikendenge nazvo izvozvo. Hatina basa nazvo kuside kwedu kupata. Kuti munozoona sei. Kana paine vamwewo vanouya kwamuri vachikuti dai matiita matipinza kana mazoita imimi substitute yevanhu vemavoters eZANU-PF mozoita zvamunoda. But as long as the voters of ZANU-PF and membership are there and they are in charge of themselves, we will listen more to them than to you. Your last question? I still hold to that view. No, I haven't changed anything. If there's a change, it's in your head. It's not on my side. I haven't changed anything. No, you can't buy your way through ZANU-PF. And if I meet him, I'll tell him exactly like that. You can't buy his way through ZANU-PF. Inonetsa kutenga ZANU-PF. Haigone kutengeka because people feel very possessive about this party. Every family in Zimbabwe in the 70s and 60s and 70s lost a member because they joined the liberation struggle. Vanhu vanoona ZANU-PF sechinhu chavo. Saka they are jealous about their thing. Usaedze kuda kuchitenga because vanokuramba vakada kutenga. I can repeat that even if he's still in front. You can bring him before me. You can ask me that question tinaye ndinomutaurira kuti kuZANU-PF hakutengwe vanhu. That I will do, because that's a revolutionary, it's a revolutionary canon about ZANU-PF. That's how it is. So I haven't changed. If there's any change about that statement, it's in your head, I repeat, not in mine. Yeah. Another question? Thank you. You see, there's again the same quarters. They are so they wish so bad about their country. So they actually think that a steel plant of that magnitude is like a corner butchery in a rural area. You don't go close, but when I end up on it does not work like that. This is a big project, $1.2 billion worth of investment by a Fortune 500 company, number 259 in the whole world. Pamakambani ese pamusoro panyika pano 500. Tsingshan is number 259. They have seriously thought about doing business in Zimbabwe to commit that kind of money in Zimbabwe. Saka kuti kuita ana maguu nevamwe ana chikanza, something like that. Vanongomuka umba kwamaika oti because yakavakwa hanzi maChina akavaka saka yavhara. Hazvidaro. This is a big investment. It has been operating now almost more than a year from the day it was commissioned. It's normal that blast furnaces do have time where you close and then you tweak you tweak them to make sure that they are optimally performing. And this is exactly what they did. They produced so much in order to anticipate for the time of closure until October, so that the market will not be starved. In the meantime, they are bringing their engineers from China to come and look at the production process, the whole value chain of production at Manisa, so that they can tweak it so that it can perform at optimal performance. I'm telling you, as we are talking now, we are very busy engaged with the largest steel company in South Africa, which has decided to come into a relationship with Manise because they respect the technological prowess of the Zimbabwean counterpart at Manise, a company which has been number one on the African continent for the last almost 70 years. He has come and taken its cap and thrown it into the and bowed to what the technology Zimbabwe is delivered at Manise. That's why I'm talking about my president spearheading a steel union between Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Mozambique. We don't do it with defunct plants. We do it because we have got a working plant. So musaterere zvinhu zvevanhu vanongoti akangoridzirwa kuti saka Zimbabwe yaane steel yobva wasvotwa kuti haisi mvuto iya yemugomo iri paya. It's a big steel plant, a thoroughly modern steel plant. Ngavadzivisana maguu like that. And they always want to talk a bit about investment because yanzi yabva kuChina. Hakuna investments yabva kuChina. America every day gets Chinese investments every 4 o'clock. Today, 4 o'clock, the Federal Reserve Bank of America is waiting for Chinese to come and buy their treasury bonds, 700 billion of them. Havambotauri kuti this man is Chinese, because when it comes into the American economy, it works. Haina painobhonyorwa China, China, China. But kune vamwe vane pfungwa dzakapendeki munyika medu vanongofunga kuti chikanzi chaachemaChina saka hachisenzi. And I ask Ana Magu, if you think this is a bad investor, why don't you go and bring yours from somewhere else? Even akatobva kuMars chaiko. Uya timbomuona avako steel plant yake, tomuona achiperforma, achiisa mastandards ari mumusoro mako Magu iwewe. Tobva tati hai ndoshasha. Kumubvunza dhororo hapana kana one chaanombounza kana at any particular day. Basa nderengoti yei maChinazo, yei maChinazo. Look, there are 1.4 billion Chinese. They are bound to be good eggs and bad eggs among Chinese, like in any other society. But that project is so big, it's so paradigm shifting. If you go on YouTube now, everybody's talking about it. The competence which is put there, the technological superiority which is there. Its fundamentals about changing the fate of Africa. The steel production, the consumption in Africa is growing at 20% per annum. The South African market alone is 3 billion US dollars. Very soon we'll be having a bill to present a bill to South Africa, but take us still 3 billion US dollars. That's how much South Africa imports every year. They probably will import more from Zimbabwe. Remember, this is steel. Steel is to nations what food is to human beings. Because without your bodies be strong. The only thing which can make nations strong, modern nations, is steel. And President Mnangagwa has actually delivered on the steel plant. I mean, this is like Mecca. This is like heaven sent. And everybody in the world is awed by the achievement of Zimbabwe in having a thoroughly modern steel plant. But you have got vanhu vanongoti vajaira kutakura mapepa bhegi ekutengwa vachienda kunotaura nevarungu vakasorudza kudaro. Varungu vanosponsor, why can't they put a steel plant? Why are they even letting the one in South Africa close? The one in South Africa is closing. If those people want to show that there is supremacy by the West, why is the South African steel company closing and ours is thriving? The one which is closing is not the Zimbabwe one. It's just on maintenance, and it will be coming back to production. I think.
So my last question: how far true is it that Comrade confronted Vice President General Chiwenga that he wanted to unconstitutionally remove His Excellency President Mnangagwa?
The only reason why probably Love Matuke is coming out is because some people want to say, "Boss Takanga Hondo," therefore we cannot be criticized. I was in the war myself. I don't mind being criticized by anybody. I don't mind being criticized by anybody. We fought so that there can be democratic discourse. So singling out Comrade Matuke is very unfortunate and it's not necessary. And it's being done by people and everyone's got information in bits and pieces. And what they are trying to do is to egg on, and I repeat this phrase, to egg on one of the members of the Presidium to be in a confrontational mood with the whole political bureau. It's not good for that member. And I'm not talking to him, I'm talking to people who are egging him on. You are different from the others. To survive a war, it's a matter of luck. And once you survive, if you begin to see virtue in yourself, then you are not respecting Wamuhaya Wakasara. Because for you to survive, somebody had to shoot the one who was going to shoot you. And that person who shot may have then been shot and died. You walk upon. So it's not good chest pumping. And furthermore, I also want to say it. We never fought in Zana forces, and I think also in Zipra forces, as generals. We fought as commanders and cadres and comrades. Atina general but general anouya after the war. And a lot of the people who were fighting vakaramba kupinda muarmy vapedza hondo vakatapedza basa redu vakaendawo. Some of us we just went to other lives. So the fact that they may be generals today has no particular bearing about the performance of somebody in the war. It's to do about the Zimbabwe Defense and its professional army. But some people were not a cluster around a certain individuals at a particular time want to elevate those people. No. I had to disabuse during one of the interviews here in the Friday drinks about trying to elevate certain comrades from the war above others. Hakuna akanga ari comrade kupfuura vamwe kuhondo. Tata angu takura futi 1-1. Ndakanga chihwade yangu ndiri 1-1. Saka handina munhu wandinoona sekunge agamba kupfuura zvandakaita ini. And handimbozoona ndiri gamba kupfuura zvakaita vamwe vapenyu kana vakafa. We just fought together. So I think any singling out of Matuke is not right. And I would hope that if those people who are doing it think they are doing a favor to that particular member of the Politburo, they are not doing him a favor. And I don't know whether he has got communion with those people who are doing that. I hope he will have the respect to tell them that they should stop it, because it besmirches his integrity as a war veteran himself if it gets to that. Furthermore, that matter was just a kerfuffle. There was not much talked about. The president came and said, there's this dossier which came from somewhere, and the Politburo says, we don't deal with dossiers which don't come from proper institutions. So we said, who is the author of that document? And nobody wanted to own it up. Somebody wanted to read it, but the president had already read it for us. So we knew what was inside. So the Politburo says, our president, we are not foisted agendas by outsiders here in this Politburo. This is neither here or there. So the matter was shunted aside. It was just, it didn't really had anything to do with the deliberations of the Politburo about that day. The the conference in Mutare, definitely the issues which I've talked about how the president can close the gap between infrastructure and economic growth, what he's trying to do in foreign diplomacy to attract more investment capital to Zimbabwe, the quest for a Security Council seat at the United Nations Security Council by Zimbabwe, and the campaign which must go into it. Then the resolutions which were coming out from the provinces, including the organs of the party about the conference in Mutare, those are the things which occupied us, not this matter. Pane vamwe vanhu vanongofunga kuti ZANU-PF ichateerera zvinotaurwa Hopewell nana Temba nevamwe vari kuona naAustralia. Hativazivi kana taakutaura zvinhu zvine basa musangano medu. And they really don't matter, no matter who is sponsoring them. And their effort at trying to create resonance within the presidium is coming. It will never bear fruit. It won't. Because we take the job of running Zimbabwe and delivering prosperity and paying homage to the people who died for this country. We take it too serious to be distracted by petty agendas. Mm-hmm. I'm not hearing you. Mm. I want to understand what it is. Are there any indications that persuaders succeed? It's a personal decision. It's a personal decision. It's him. You see, he saw what old age can do to a leader when he was vice president in the First Republic. So he must be very conscious in his mind about with what time one should go or not go. He is a very intelligent man. He has been long in the trenches, surviving. In fact, those who don't know, those who are against Zimbabwe, they actually wonder how he has survived to eventually be where he is today. So he has gone through it all. As things stand, he is of very sane mind about running this country and where he wants to go. But he is also very conscious about his obligations to the country, which he has dedicated his whole life for since he was about a teenager. So I have every confidence in him that he will make the right decisions, as he is doing right now about this country. By the way, in all the sinews of the economy, which I've been describing, gold, tobacco, steel, I've been working with him. I have been finding somebody who is very receptive to very progressive ideas about where we want to go. And I remind everybody, I'm a diplomat from Brussels. I know the trade in goods and services, but that is the headquarters of the EU, the largest trading bloc in the world. I spent and went to school. I worked in New York. I studied in New York, the money center of the world. I know the value of money from the epicenter of money globally, New York. I went and I served in China. I saw capital change a backward third world huge country called China into the second largest economy in the world. I saw what foreign direct investment can do. It has been a breeze for me working with President Mnangagwa on all occasions to make sure that Zimbabwe can have the sinews of the economy which we are talking about. He is the best businessman in Zimbabwe today. Pane vamwe vanozoti taama businessmen vari kutaura hwahupfu. Vamunangagwa vanobvira kuchiri kurimwa chiri tsanga mhodzi kumunda ndokwavanondotangira ikoko, yozoimwa yokohwe yosakurwa yokohwe yozopinda mudura ndokunobva Mnangagwa. He has been part and parcel of these decisions which I'm talking about, which have changed the country in the last 5 years. And I've been with him on each and every occasion. And I can vouch for you that when it comes to what is good for Zimbabwe from economic and business plan, he's second to none. That's why he can score such illustrious, such game-changing projects on the African continent, like a steel plant, like lithium investors. He's the first to break through, like restoring gold production to Zimbabwe to the levels at which we are. And I'm proud that on each and every those occasions, I've been lockstep with him. So I'm talking about what I know. And I'm prepared to challenge any economist or finance person in this country for debate. Topedzran, Chakanang, about what Mnangagwa has done for this economy. And I give him Ganoves where do I some dish. Because what they were talking about this economy and what Mnangagwa has delivered is totally different. Now, I'm great. I can read the phone gift. I'm right. So this is that's how I can put it. He's my friend, but he's a manawangu, by the way. So I'm not denigrating. He doesn't fall into the ilk of the other ones. Blessed propounds. Thank you.
Yes, my name is General Chiwenga. I'm taking you back from you said that you do not see color with concerns. You do not see color with concerns investment. Are there any foreign investors or future projects that Zimbabwe may face?
Future investment projects.
Yes, and also investors and projects.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, thank you so much. At least now I'm being asked something which excites me. Yes. The first major project, which is urgent and President is going to announce it very soon, is Newman is a city. That steel plant will, you know what Cisco did to Kwekwe? Redcliffe, what he did to Kwekwe. That's what Manise is going to do to that area. So a special economic zone has already been gazetted. A board will be set up very soon. And there is a slew of investors from Turkey, from South Africa, from China, who want to come and put plant in Manise. The reason, because the company which is producing steel there is the best in the world. They know the quality of steel. So I advise varimuno majournalists kuti mozotsvaga maadresi kumanhizi edzimba dzekugara mastent, because the amount of iron ore in that area is enough for 300 years, if not more. The coking coal in Hwange is enough for 1,000 years. The ferrochrome along the Great Dyke is enough for 500 years in Zimbabwe. Saka steel production in Manise will be going on it's an intra-generational project. So if there's a likelihood that you wake up in the resurrection, you may wake up on the right address yawakaminga uchigara. Enda unotenga imba kuna Manise kupfuura kwamuri kugara. That town will be around for a long time. So the building of a new smart city in Manise is pressing. Incidentally, the 4,000, 3,000 young people who were building that steel plant, vachiri kugara mumabarracks. Havasati pavakwa. Now the pension funds in the country are now stampeding to my knees. The insurance companies, they are now stampeding to Manise to build infrastructure. There will be need for stadiums. We will need logistics centers. We will need a railway line from Manise to Vuma to take away all that. The trucks, about 300 every week, going to South Africa taking steel. We have to take those trucks away from that road. Otherwise, very soon it will be plowed out by heavy duty trucks going to South Africa. We need the railway line back. So the railways need investment. That's why we are so happy the president was in China talking about railways. We need electricity. We need roads. We need, this town is at the center of the country, equidistant from every part of Zimbabwe. So the whole enabling and ancillary, we need a dam on the Munyati River to supply water to the new town. That town will be not less than 50 to 100,000 people in the next 2 to 3 to 4 years. Manise. So that's a project on its own. We need a new railway line from Manise to South Africa completely, all the way to Harare. This is important. We need more power stations. The World Bank is actually now putting more power stations on the Cabora Bassa dam in Mozambique because of the expressed demand for electricity at Manise. But also there will be a lot of smelting of chrome from Gwanda up to Shamba on the Great Dyke, because steel's alloys are nickel or chrome. And because Zimbabwe and South Africa have 85% of the world ferrochrome, there will be a lot of investment in ferrochrome smelting between the two countries. A lot of electricity will be needed. So we are very happy that President Trump put $4.7 billion in Cabo Delgado gas liquefaction. That is for export to Europe, China, and India. But near those gas stations, those gas liquefaction plants in Mozambique, we want to build thermal power stations. We have to then construct power lines from Cabo Delgado to the consumption centers in the center of Zimbabwe because of the steel industry. So that steel to build the power lines will come from Manise. The cabling will need steel, it will come from Manise. The railways I'm talking about, the steel will come from Manise. That's why we are having a symbiotic relationship with South Africa and Zimbabwe. Because South Africa has got quite an advanced industry in fabrication, but they don't have quality raw steel like we have. So this is a symbiotic relationship between Zimbabwe and South Africa. It's opening up mind-boggling opportunities of development. I can assure you that the next industrial base of steel in the world is going to be between Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Mozambique. Izvozvo zvakadarwa naMwari, because zvinhu zvacho zvinonadzira steel zvese zvakapimwa panzvimbo 1: ferrochrome, vanadium, manganese, coking coal, iron ore, zvese Mwari akazviunganidza pakati peZimbabwe, South Africa, in Southern Africa and Mozambique. Mwari wacho aitida. And power yacho energy tinayo iri kubva kuZambezi Valley kana kuHwange kana kupi. So these are the issues which are going to be the drivers of the Southern African economy for the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. Vachatapirirwa vanhu vachaibuya kuzoita mari kuregion kuno, because tinazvo zvatakapiwa naMwari. I hope it answers you. So the whole infrastructure surrounding logistics, surrounding that's ports in Mozambique, railway lines between Mozambique and Zimbabwe, between Zimbabwe and South Africa, between Zimbabwe and Zambia, between Mozambique and Zambia, all this railway infrastructure. Once you have a steel industry, these things become feasible, they become attainable. And that's what President Mnangagwa has done.
Fantastic. Are there any corporations?
And for that, we don't care, because njanji yekuAmerica inotakura chitima, njanji yekuCanada inotakura chitima, njanji yekuIndia inotakura chitima, njanji yekuChina yekupi. So that's why I'm saying capital is what? Is no color. We are happy with capital from anywhere. Tinotosvotwa nevanhu vanoti vamwe vanhu vakaunza capital votanga kuvatuka nenzira yeganda ravo, tongoti madofo.
And sorry, about the railways, my companies are listed on the railway projects. Like, are you able to provide names of the companies?
We want South Africa Rail. It's naturally our neighbor. We want to have a stake in that game. We want ArcelorMittal South Africa, which is a major steel producer in South Africa, the one which is now closing its plant because they want to buy from South Africa. We want to become a partner. We want Caminho de Ferros Mozambique, CFM Mozambique, to be involved. We want China Railway Line, which is the biggest contractor company for railways in the world. We want them to be involved. Indian Railways are already in Mozambique. We also want them to be involved. Indonesia is interested. Turkey is involved. So the more the merrier. And that the same goes for pipelines for fuel. The same goes for pylons for the transmission of electricity. In fact, as I talk now, that workshop at Manize, which built that steel plant, the DISCO is prepared to lease it for toll manufacturing to Zimbabweans. The best welders and iron steel smiths in Africa today, very Manize paya, not Zimbabweans. Wakawaka that steel plant. We want them to get a new life. Maybe the mining equipment, which is being used by our mines, which is imported from China. We now want that intellectual knowledge, and we start manufacturing it in Manize. We will become a country of steel widget producers. The metallurgists in this region are going to be world class. The American Welders Association, this is true, has actually decided to come and put an institute in Manisa. This is the maker of welding in the whole world. The American Welders Association. Check them on the internet. They are going to put an institute to train Zimbabweans about welding. World class uncompromising quality will be coming out of the technicians which they will be teaching at Manisa. Zvichanaka, zviri kudirwa shuga zvinizvi. I don't want to lie to you. Any other question before you go to chicken in for me for haranguing you for so many minutes? Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your time.